I'm in Morecambe in Lancashire and I've come to the Morecambe Cemetery. We have the sorrowing young lady by the cross with the dove of peace, the olive branch in its mouth. Panning down, we've got the 1 foot showing, as they always do, and the memorial is to my dear husband Thomas Clayton, 1925, and then Grace's beloved wife in 1963. Well, she certainly went on for almost 40 years after his death. There is a very nicely kept memorial garden for those who died in the wars. There are 30 stones here from all sorts of regiments. Warrant Telegraphist, A.E. Withers, Royal Navy, 1941. Let me just show you a few from this row. Sergeant W.C. Seed, wireless operator and air gunner in the Royal Air Force, 1942, age 30. Next to him is Flight Sergeant F.A. Pyatt, who was a pilot in the Royal Canadian Air Force, June 1942, age 19. Flight Sergeant and a pilot, aged 19. And here's an uncommon one. ACW Second Class K.E. Pryor, Women's Auxiliary Air Force, 1941, aged 24. We don't see very many women who are listed on the war memorials. You find one, and then you find two. This is another lady, E.N. Moxley, Women's Auxiliary Air Force, 1943, age 23. Here's a New Zealander, Flight Sergeant J.C. Wilson, a pilot, Royal New Zealand Air Force, 1944, age 24. And at the foot of the grave we can see that recently somebody has put a picture of him and his medals and a little bit about him. J.C. Wilson from New Zealand. Well, looking along all the inscriptions in these 30 graves, they are all people from the Second World War. This is a highly stylized image of Christ on the cross. We pan down. The Very Reverend Canon Arthur Layton. There's something after that, and that's DD, PhD, BCL. He died in 1983. He was the parish priest of St Mary's, 1940 to 1977, so 37 years. Very nice design. Good to see something a little different. This one to William Burkitt Clark, and we see at the top the symbols of the Masons, the square and the compass. Now this angel is full size, or at least full size as human beings go. I've no idea what size angels actually are. So this is a very large statue of an angel, and we see the inscription at the bottom, Da Bruciani. Looking a little Italian to my eye. Now there she is. This angel is knelt in front of the cross in prayer, wings mostly folded, and this is to Joseph brackets Joe Taylor, 1931, and then we have other members of his family beneath. This is a monk holding a very small child. If we pan down, we see the inscription is Ellen Fury, 1956, age 54. John, 1978, age 75. There's no mention of a child there. We don't often see monks on the statues. There's a group of 4 stones here with very similar designs. They're not quite the same. The left one is David Thompson. The next one is Florence Gardner, Margaret Keats and Elizabeth Orrell. Not clear what the connection is, but quite clearly they are connected. There's a garden of remembrance marked out here, and it's for the members of the cinematography trade. The board explains that there were a number of places of entertainment in the Morecambe area, and the people there often fell on hard times. So it covers people that worked at the Winter Gardens, Alhambra Palace, the Tower, the Royal Theatre, and a number of others. So this is a garden of remembrance for those employees. This is the rear of a very large memorial to Hanley, and it has the pictures of 2 people on the back. And on the main face you can see it's quite detailed. In loving memory of Missy Hanley, beloved wife of Sean. And then we've got Sean, and we've got a lot of inscriptions on the open books, and we've got a picture of Sean and Missy. This is a more modern stone, but it caught my eye because of the picture, Ben Woodhouse, and it looks to me like a fishing boat with sails rather than a pleasure yacht. So we get the impression that Ben Woodhouse was a fisherman. Nearby is one to Dennis Aldrin with a similar theme. We have this fishing boat with some sort of framework behind it. I don't see any dates on this one. Our Little Princess, Chanel Veronica Lee Garner. A special smile, a precious face, a beautiful daughter we cannot replace. You gave your love your whole life through. We miss you, Princess, and love you too. Grave is quite clearly still very much cared for. It's the chapel of rest in this cemetery. A little different in design. This is Albert Bickerdike, 1943, and his wife Ruth Mary, who died in 1949. The cross at the top looks almost like the Iron Cross. A very pretty memorial. Francesca Carla Clark. She was born sleeping, or stillborn, in 1994. A very attractive memorial to her and to Derek Clark. This is Lee Stephen Gillan, known as Digger, who died in 2006, only aged 27. There's no doubt what his colours are. That's Liverpool Football Club. He was a devoted fiancé to Amy, loving daddy to Jaden, and then he did more relationships beneath. This is a first for me. Anthony John Gill, Tony, 2009. The picture is of a trap racing rig. This is a design which crops up occasionally in graveyards. It's very broadly influenced by Art Deco. Well, I think Art Moderna may be better. And the inscription at the bottom there, Tom Atkinson of Berrin, South Road, Morecambe, 1951, age 73. It's nice to see a different style memorial stone. This is another one in the same theme. This is from 1934, Jane Rodham Jowett. This one has a unusual design. Underneath the inscription, Albert Edward Newton, the sort of scroll effect has been torn off into three separate pieces, and there's something underneath that, looks like flowers or a vine. Quite distinctive. Well, that's my visit to the cemetery in Morecambe. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's quite a lot of interest here. I've enjoyed myself. So till the next time.